Okay. Resume. Okay. All right. Now we got it recording again. All right. So this is going to be our first working session here of trying to create our storytelling AAC app, which it's going to be a lot of fun because Rory, you like to tell stories, right? Besides giving hugs. Yeah. Tell stories. And so you've been working on using your AAC device where it's got all the different buttons. We should bring that down too, right? Or a speech device like this before?
No. So I'm glad to see it. I understand it.
Okay. You want to kind of explain to her how this works? I'm going to put it at kind of an angle here too, so it's easier for you. There we go. Okay. All right. So Roy, like if you wanted to say, why don't you tell everybody like how you're feeling today or something like that? Like tell everybody something like about you.
Go away, go away, go away.
We won't change anything on here, but like tell them like maybe like what's something you like to eat. So you just like I like
Oh, wow.
and then what do you love? Oh, you can go to your favorite things or things to eat.
To eat.
Or some favorite things to eat.
Pizza.
And then tap on that to read the whole thing.
I love to eat pizza.
And
Oh,
that's how it works. But Rory, is it easy to tell us to make up a story?
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to say for you?
Me. Okay.
Okay, you're gonna say.
Yeah. No.
Not from the homepage though?
Hey.
I.
No.
What do you mean no for the home button?
Home and verb.
That there's a lot on there?
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to tell a story, is that easy or no?
No.
okay.
There's a lot of things. Does it have the words that you want?
No.
Is it hard to find the words that you want?
No. Home. Are we? Hand. Are we?
Your hand gets sore even from pressing all the buttons?
Yeah.
That can be a problem too, yeah. And because then you've got two, like under social, we've got different things in here, right? So you can say of like hello or
Hey there.
right? We can say those things.
Hey.
Do you want to take a selfie? Do you
Hey.
want to take a selfie?
Hey.
Want to get closest?
Hey. No.
Or you want to tell Lois something.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah. Hello.
I.
No. And bull. And like and big.
My name is Rory. What's your name? Where do you live? I live in Stillwater. I go to school at River Grove. Where do you go to school? My birthday is July 5th. When is your birthday?
And so
I am 12 years old. How old are you?
Wait.
you want to go through all the different things?
Okay.
Did she say yes?
Done.
Well, I was thinking, what if you show Lois like how you do some of the stories? Like when you go back.
Right.
Yeah. And then like we've got some things under storytelling. Like which one do you want to do?
Are
Look,
you in
look,
campfire?
look,
Yeah,
look,
you're putting her here because then
Look.
she can see
look,
anything you put there. Anything you
Look.
put there, she can see then. Yeah.
look. Me?
And so these are stories that we programmed in there for you based on things that we already talked about. So it's things that we talked about ahead of time, and then an adult went in and kind of like we put these things in there so that then you can kind of tell your funny story. But to make up a new story, that's tough. You want to tell this story real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
And mama, me mama, and mama, and look.
You're the mom, and you have.
And Mama Rory. I need to go pick up baby wolf from school. We're going to McDonald's. We will order French fries. We will order French fries and chicken nuggets.
And funny. Yeah. Look.
And so,
Look.
okay,
Look.
one last thing.
Look.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, you wanted to show the photos?
Her.
It's the baby wolf from Coco Melon.
And hen. Me and yeah. And hey.
And so that's kind of the problem is that like you want to tell a lot of stories.
Yep.
It's hard to create a new story when you're
Right.
going along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Tell a story,
No.
create a new story.
No.
I'm like, I don't know. I guess I don't remember the word that I said.
You. Okay. Back.
Oh, what am I saying to? Oh, why am I saying it to Lois?
Yeah.
Because we're recording this too, and then we can share it with other people. I know, nice, huh? And so the idea is, what if we use something that is kind of like AAC, where it has the different buttons, or it's kind of like a Mad Libs thing. So the idea is that you could then, using something like this, select a story template, and then fill out basic information about the story, and then generative AI would create the rest of this, turn it into like an original story each time. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to kind of show how this would work here. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. All right. So like on here, so I'm using OpenAI, which is same thing as ChatGPT. Yeah. And so then the idea of, we can then say of like, write a 2-sentence story that meets the following parameters, and we can have then like the theme. So I'm kind of thinking like, this is the theme, like a funny story or scary or your weekend. Don't draw on this one though. And then we can set in some different things, and then it will then generate the story. So Rory, let's go ahead and go through this here, and we're going to practice this out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for just a moment, and we're going to go to, let's see if I can pin that one. I don't know if that'll make any difference. Okay. All right. So for this, Rory, which one? Let's tell a story about your weekend. Okay. So you would then select. Okay. Actually, no. Here, I should step back a second. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, so today we're going to do just paper prototypes. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing anything on the computer, we're just going to be sketching out the ideas. So this is the first page. And you go through and you select what your type of story you want to do.
Yeah.
Then it's going to go to the next page, and then we're going to have then some parameters. So I'm thinking it'll be almost all of them. It'll be of like who and what and where and the mood. And I'm kind of thinking this is already feeling a little complex, but this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. So if we select who,
that's going to be Rory, or is it going to be her brother?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, Rory, who should we make this about? So now we can say who. And now we can have like a big selection thing of like who we're going to have it be about. About me.
Oh.
Or brother. Who else would this maybe be about?
Oh.
About dad?
I think you should have your dad in it.
Instead of, here, I'm gonna write these up. We'll say like dad,
And home.
mom,
Alright.
grandma. All right. So then we got that one. And then we're gonna have the what. So in this one, we've got what, we've got that they went biking. So the same kind of thing, we'll have them like some sort of menu to select it. And so we can then have like bike, store, movie, friends. And then the idea is that too, that we'd have like a picture that goes along with each one. I'm kind of
Okay.
thinking. So we
Yeah.
have our what, and then we're gonna have where this is gonna take place. Hold on, Ray, I'm gonna hold on to this one. So we'll have where this is gonna take place. And what is it? We've got where is gonna be at the playground. Okay, so then where. Okay, we got playground, school, home, forest,
And baby.
and baby. Oh, you know what? Then we should have that be the who. Okay, we're adding baby in here. Baby.
Okay.
And
Right.
uh,
Wait, let me
big up baby.
big baby.
Big up baby.
We'll have that. Or let me, and then hold on, Ray. And then we're gonna do the mood also. Is this gonna be
Done.
here? Let me draw this one out here. We're gonna do the mood. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna write this out. So it's gonna be funny, maybe scary.
No.
No, you don't have to pick that one though. Scary or sad. Let's go with that. And then on here, hold on, right here. Can you put this page over there? Right, can you put this page on top of that one? And then it would read out, then we'd have our story. And then that's gonna be our speaker. Then have it read it aloud to us. Okay, all right, ready to try this out, Rory? And so what we're gonna do too is as we're going through this, now we'll be able to put this into Chat GPT and then see how this worked out. And Rory, what I want you to do is tell me, we're gonna go through this and then you're gonna be then kind of like what your thoughts are on this, okay? All right, so this is the Tell a Story app, and you can tell a funny one or a scary or like a story about like knights and wizards or a love story or your weekend or something about school. How about you select a story from your weekend? So tap on the weekend one. Should it have sound effects? All right, so it goes to the next one. So your weekend. Let's choose who it's going to be about. Tap on who. Boop. Now you can choose me, brother, dad, mom, grandma, or baby. Which one? Did grandma?
Yeah.
Grandma. Okay. All right. All right. And now what is it? What's going to happen? Is it going to be about a bike or going to the store or the movies or friends? Boop. Friends. Okay. So what is going to be friends? And where does this take place? The playground, at school, home, or the forest? Boop. School. Okay. And I'm typing this into OpenAI and took out like a little like template there. And then what's the mood of the story going to be? Is it going to be funny, scary, or sad? Sad. Oh my. Okay. All right. And then,
Daddy.
all right. And then I'm going to share my screen.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Bob.
Okay, hold on here. So,
Bob.
yeah. Did you want to make a change?
Sad grandma.
Wanna make a change?
School.
Yeah.
Not sad,
Yeah.
funny, scary, or sad? We're changing it to funny.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be too intense. Okay, so we're gonna change the mood to funny. So in the prompt, and this is where what's kind of neat is that we can just keep updating this without really changing anything in the code. So I just gave it the prompt of write a 2-sentence story that meets the following parameters. And so from what Rory's already put in, we've got that. And now we're gonna select it. And then the idea is that then it could print out here. So Rory, from your story, why don't you hit the speak it aloud so it'll read it aloud to you. Boop. Grandma brought her friends to school on the weekend for a fun time. And the principal wasn't happy when he saw them all in the hallway.
No.
You didn't like that story? No?
Wow.
Okay, do it again.
Wow.
You want a sad story? We're gonna go back and change the mood.
And
Funny, scary, or sad?
and look.
What?
Yeah.
What happens if we do a second funny one? Will it write a different story?
We'll run that one again. So if we'd run it again, Rory, Grandma thought it was funny when she showed up to school on the weekend to hang out with her friends, the other teachers. Do you like that
Yeah.
story? Do you like that one?
And
Are you gonna draw a picture of Grandma now?
me.
Okay. Right, yeah, so then we changed another one. So we do it again. Grandma decided to surprise her grandkids by showing up at their school during their weekend play date with their friends. She had a great time playing tag and taking selfies with them, much to the surprise of the kids and their friends.
That's a wonderful story.
So it kind of makes things up. Is this a story you would want to tell other people?
Yeah.
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 Is it okay? So it's not a real story though. Like it didn't really,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it didn't really happen. Is that okay or no?
No.
Does it have to be a real story that happened or can you make one up? You make one up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But does it make sense, Matt, to be able to write down that this one was a made up one so that you know which ones were made up and which ones were real?
That is a good point. Would you want to tell people that this is like a pretend story?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it should say this is a
I'm dying.
pretend story.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
Oh. No.
Not a made up story.
No.
Do you want it to be a real one instead? It should
Yeah.
be a real story that happened, or it can be a made up one. It should be a real story that happened.
Yeah.
Maybe do you want it sometimes real, sometimes made up? Sometimes, well, I guess that wasn't very good choices. It can be real and made up, like you pick which one, or it always has to be real. It can be real and made up.
Yeah.
So we should add on if it's going to be a real or made up story. So like on here, maybe we have,
Cool.
if it's like, oh, so it's got to be like a real story, maybe. So we add
Yeah.
in some other things. It should be like
Yeah.
a real one.
Yeah.
You're going to add something for that button. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Ah.
Yeah. You're just going to draw a picture of me,
Yeah.
aren't you? Okay, you're just going to draw a picture of me.
Huh.
You draw a picture of Lois too. I'll write on here. Okay, I'm just writing down some notes here.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, yeah, Lois, what are your thoughts? Initial thoughts here.
I think it's interesting to see how the
Ah!
machine,
What was this?
how the machine made 3 different stories with the same criteria. I think that was interesting. And I think it is entertaining to listen to the made up stories.
Done. Done.
Would oh, you got your
Yeah.
okay, we got our new icons.
Yeah.
Is that one gonna be me?
Me. But
Oh, so this is like the family.
no.
Sorry. So
Look.
I guess, you know, and for the made up stories, and so I like your point of like whether or not if it's going to be a real or if it's going to be a made up one. Well, I think it's tough with the stories that aren't going to be made up, and we're going to almost running out of time here for Zoom.
Ma-
Is that generative one of it? If it's a
9.
story that really happened, it could generate it, but it's going to be really tough to have it create a story that's not. There's going to still be accurate.
But it doesn't
We're just gonna make
embellish.
stuff up. Yeah.
Yes,
It's gonna embellish it in some way. And so it's like, do you just kind of keep hitting refresh until it tells you something that wasn't overly embellished?
Yeah,
Or,
I
do
don't
you
know.
just kind of stick to like a very
Done.
simple template of like,
They
over the weekend I
Right.
played with blah. We did blah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the machine would have a hard time telling a real story because it doesn't know all the facts. So it's going to fill in things.
Right.
And so it's almost more of a helping whoever is using it to understand that they know what they did over the weekend with their grandma and their friends. But the machine will have fun talking about other things, so it's more for the person programming the machine to realize that the machine is just having fun with their facts.
Yeah. And when I was telling somebody else about it, they likened it to like Mad Libs, which is
Yes,
basically what this is. It's
yes,
just we're doing a Mad Libs with more flexibility in the story.
right.
Okay, I'm gonna play around with if there's a way to. So I'm thinking too, because part of what I'm hoping about this is that there's gonna be flexibility in terms of the wording of it, because my goal is to try and keep it simple, but it's also there's all those like connector words within the sentences for it to all make sense of where that's what can make it more cumbersome and time consuming to create and to get right.
Yeah.
Whereas if we can still keep a few individual words, and if ChatGPT can kind of make sense, like if it can make sense of those few words without embellishing it, to turn it into a sentence or two sentences that make sense, but it's not adding to it at the same time.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that way it'll sound like two complete sentences, but it's not making stuff up, but it also doesn't sound too programmatic. Like, I played with friends, we went to park, we had fun. Like not
Yes,
as robotic as that, which we want
Yes,
AI to
yes.
make it not sound robotic.
yes. So did you notice how we used the same prompt 3 times and it embellished more each time? I think that's what occurred, because this number 3 is the most robust of what it put together.
Yeah.
And
And this is completely,
Yeah.
yeah.
so, help me with your goal. Is your goal to create ease for Rory and others to tell their story? Or is the goal for Rory and others to delight in the discovery of multiple versions?
It depends on which one, but it's very much a Rory. Can I talk about you for a second?
Done.
Can I talk about you for a second?
Okay.
Yeah. And then you say something. Yeah. When people Rory very much like if people are sitting around and telling stories, especially if it's a funny story, you always want to tell a story too, right?
Yeah.
And does it have to be a real story, or can it just be any funny story? Any funny story.
Yeah.
And so it's very much just wanting to be part of
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm hoping that by having control over the story and being able to kind of do things like that, that'll be part of it. But I think as we get more comfortable with that, and used to being part of that conversation, I think then if we can use that same process to tell real stories, like about our weekend, then I think that will be even more powerful, because then we're able to do that more. But right now it's just a matter of like trying to get to be part of the conversation. Like we're not part of the conversation. We want to be part of the conversation, and that's how we're going to get in.
Yes.
But is that, I don't know, then part of me too is sort of like, is that the right way to get into the conversation, or is it not? Or is it just like, this is just one way, and maybe we'll move on to something else, maybe we won't, but we're at least part of the conversation, and it makes sense to
Yes.
strengthen it.
Yes, and so from a logistics perspective, if, see, I've never seen ChatGPT, so I don't know how to answer this question. So if the blue machine is there, and the 5 things are identified, 5 things are identified. Is that done on the blue machine, or is that done on wherever ChatGPT is? How does the machine get used in the living room when the conversation with others telling stories is happening?
It would just have to be on the speech device as like a separate app.
Okay,
Like it would be like a web, just a web app. I'm
okay,
kind of thinking with that idea of that this will be a separate app to use for telling that story.
okay, yeah. Yeah, so it could be a situation where, you know, somebody's talking about something and, Dad, I want to tell a story, and you could say, fill in your 5 things, and they get filled in, and then when there's a lull in the conversation, oh, here's another story to tell, and the machine tells it.
I like that. And I'm thinking as you're saying that too, I like that of like when there's like a lull in the conversation of almost of like, right, like, because then the person that's using it is maybe kind of going through. And so that made me think of like, well, if you're the person creating the stories, you're going to want to be able to maybe hear the stories ahead of time, like just use maybe like a quiet and then a loud button instead of like adjusting the volume.
Yes.
So sort of like, just to me, like I want to kind of go through and make sure I got a really good story. And then if I got a really good one, then I'm going to hold on to it. Well, maybe we can save.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So every Monday and Thursday night, because then Monday, Rory and Malcolm are going to be joining in. Malcolm is out riding his bike right now.
Okay.
For part of it at least. And then on Thursday, it's just going to be me. And I'm thinking like an hour or less each of those days with a specific goal. And so like next week, I'm thinking we'll get into now the how we're going to be kind of like putting the different pieces together, how we're going to use Bubble to kind of create the app itself, and we're going to connect it up with OpenAI, maybe play around with some of the templates a little bit. So
Okay. That
Okay.
sounds excellent. Thank you.
awesome. Well, thanks, Lois.
Done.